another Mercy Health matchup as we preview games in the Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown. I'm Richard Skinner. He's Tom Gamble. And as always, it's presented by
Mercy Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Meyer.
We got a good one here. Connor and Covcath. Yeah. Connor comes in 7-1. Covington Catholic 9-0. You're looking and saying, wait a minute, there's a game difference. Covcath will actually have a bye in the last week of the season. Connor still has one more game after this. But this is actually for the 5A District Championship. Both teams undefeated in district play. So this is really shaping up as a good one.
Well, and this is one of those, can anybody knock off Covcath? I mean, last week it was Highlands and Covcath shut them out. And Covcath's defense has been outstanding. Last 2 weeks, holding LaSalle to 7, Highlands to 0. And now they've won 29 straight. The last time they've lost in the regular season was the last game of 2016.
It's incredible.
A 7-point loss to Scott County, 35-28. They've won every game in the regular season since. And, you know, this is one, it's a big challenge for Connor, but if you're Dave Trosper, you got to like this. They played really well. They've won 6 straight. Their only loss early in the season to Ryle. They won at Highlands in Fort Thomas, too. So this has got the makings of a good one.
Yeah, it really is hard to look at teams being able to do much against this Covcath offense, but Dave Trosper, who was a defensive player in high school and in college, was a linebacker. He's an offensive mind. He loves being an offensive play caller. He comes up with a lot of creative stuff. They've got a very good quarterback in Jared Hicks, so
absolutely.
Hit a big player, too. Who knows?
Yeah, Jared Hicks, who ranks among the leaders in passing in the state of Kentucky, and you know, he can throw it. And Connor, I think, though, the problem with Covcath is they're so talented defensively with Michael Mayer, the two-way player. And if he's not Kentucky Mr. Football, he may not be because of stats. He's the best football player in Kentucky.
No doubt.
Daniel Felix, both of those guys had huge games. In fact, against LaSalle, Mayer had a 45-yard interception return for a TD. You know, the thing about Covcath is both sides of the ball, they're just equally talented. They've got some depth. They've got seniors. They're just point-blank good.
Yeah, Michael Mayer's going to Notre Dame to play tight end, at least initially. I'm not so sure. He's not better off on the other side of the ball because I think he can play on Sundays in the NFL as probably a linebacker. He's just a really talented athlete for sure.
So it's a challenge for Connor, but it'll be out in Hebron at Fred Neville Stadium. I know one of your favorite places.
I bet you they let the grass grow a little higher, perhaps. Maybe a little rain, maybe in the mix.
Well, it looks like clouds now, no rain, because maybe if you're Connor, maybe suddenly the sprinklers come on.
Maybe they do.
You know that's happened in places before.
Do anything you can do to equal the footing.
And it's one of two really good Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown games this week. This one in Kentucky, and we'll talk in a minute about another one coming up in Ohio. But coming up next, it's another edition of the Mercy Health Huddle, the source of health information for your student-athlete.
Hi again, everybody. We're here with Dr. Michael Chen from Mercy Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. And Dr. Chen, I can imagine most people watching at one time or another have probably suffered a sprained ankle. What exactly is a sprained ankle?
Well, a sprained ankle is usually when you stretch the ligaments that help support the ankle. You're right, it's actually one of the most common reasons for missed athletic participation. Usually happens when you turn or roll your ankle.
Okay, now how do I know if it is a sprained ankle, or maybe what are the symptoms, I guess?
Usually it's from pain. You'll have some pain or swelling around your ankle, usually on the front or on the outside of your ankle too. Sometimes you're going to actually have pain where you can't even put weight on that leg.
And what should they do if you have an ankle sprain, or what are some of the treatments?
Usually the first thing you want to do is what we call RICE therapy, where the RICE stands for rest, ice, compression, and elevation. I also often recommend to my patients or athletes to take some anti-inflammatories like Advil or Aleve.
I'm sure time is part of the rehab process, but is there anything else you can do to rehab to come back quicker?
Actually, what we call functional rehab is actually probably one of the most important reasons or best ways to get back to play as soon as possible. And that usually includes 3 different things: getting your motion back, getting your strength back, and finally regaining your balance. And
then once an athlete comes back, how about ankle braces or tape? Obviously a good thing?
That's a really good thing sometimes because it helps stabilize the ankle, which then can help prevent re-injury.
Well, like you said, one of the more common injuries. Great information today, Doc. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
When it hurts to move, what often hurts most is the fact that you can't. Because every rebound is calling your name, and every dance should be danced. It's in moments like these that we step in to help you step back off the sidelines. Because it takes 2 to tango in this life, and you are meant to be the one. Mercy Health, healthcare for the universe of you. Find an orthopedic doctor at mercy.com/ortho.